On my far right, Mr. Tom Moore. He's the past editor of the Calgary Albertan and a longtime friend of the Calgary School Patrollers. Next to Mr. Moore is Mr. Jack Ferguson. He's the Director of Educational Data at the Calgary Board of Education. I keep calling that the school board. Will you please remain standing, fellas, until the whole head table has been introduced. Mr. Lionel Bellavance, Supervisor of Special Education, Calgary Catholic Board of Education. Chief Ernie Reimer, Chief of the Calgary Police Service. On my far left, Mr. Roy Smith, Safety Supervisor, the Protective Services Division of the City of Calgary Transportation Department. Next to Mr. Smith, Inspector Al Rivard, Assistant Officer Commanding Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Calgary. Next to Inspector Rivard is Mr. Mike College, the Consumer and Corporate Affairs Chairman for the Alberta Motor Association. And Mr. John Orr, Regional Manager of the Alberta Motor Association. This, people, is your head table. In addition, we have Mr. Les Davies, Office Manager, Calgary Motor Association, main branch, over here. Mr. George Cooper, Office Manager, AMA, Northgate branch. Over there. You don't know this fellow. Arnie Jackson, Driver Education Manager, Alberta Motor Association. Why, Arnie. Corporal Ted Nelson, District Attachment, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Yvonne McKinnon, School Patrol Counselor, Alberta Motor Association. Did you go home, Yvonne? Oh, there she is. Allison Cartwright, Alberta Motor Association. She's at the front desk. There she is. Rhonda Wigan, Alberta Motor Association. She's up there too. Sergeant Gerhard Roski, in charge of the School Safety Unit, Calgary Police Service. And these safety constables, Rian Dezong, Sandy Saruka, Ralph Lugallo, Lugo, Roger Dickon, Mike Mahar, Gord Sands, and there are two constables not in attendance, Harvey Gregoresh and Constable Stu Orr. These are your constables' counselors. You've never met them.
Thank you. Go smile. Hi. I hope he's getting out of
Hey, Jamie.
These people at the head table, as I mentioned before, will be honored later on and will be reintroduced to you. It's really a pleasure for me to welcome you to these special awards gathering on behalf of the Alberta Motor Association Calgary branch. For information, there are many school safety patrollers here tonight. It's a very special occasion for them. Our group is made up of 140 provincial organizations.
You're gathered here tonight to have your award tonight, and I'd just like to let you know that there have been several such nights held throughout the province: Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, Lethbridge, Medicine, all with this same kind of theme. You are a part of a battalion of 15,000 patrollers in the province. So on behalf of them and the Administration Office of the Alberta Motor Association, I congratulate every one of you.
Good evening, everyone, and honored guests, parents, ladies and gentlemen, police officers and students. I'm delighted to be here. And in fact, it's really nice, especially as you become a grandfather, to hear all that noise and excitement and enthusiasm, knowing that I can walk away to my quiet apartment and call my grandchildren to find out how things are going on over there. But seriously, it's a pleasure being here. On behalf of the Calgary Police Service, I'm so proud to say that we've been involved with the AMA for 49 years in this particular program, the Calgary Safety School Program. So we're almost hitting half a century. Our safety record is envied across the country. As a matter of fact, well beyond the borders of Canada, people have come here to look at the school patrol program because of the record that you have and the children before you have set in our city. We've grown from one school in 1937 to 134 today, with about 5,000 people involved. And to tell you a little bit about my own priorities, this year, a tough year for the city in terms of the economy and the finances really of the city. We chose, the Calgary Police Service, to increase our school resource officer program. That's the program that involves the high school students by a number of people, as well as this particular program. So we increased it by 2 people, which doesn't seem like a lot, but during tough times, it is an increase, and it's an indication of the high priority that I place on child safety and safety as a whole in our city. What I'm really saying is that as police chief, one of my main objectives is in fact to create the safest possible environment that we can in our city. And of course you play an important role in that particular objective, because you are assisting us in creating a safe environment for all of the tens of thousands of children that you escort to and from school on each school day. So, as patrollers, you've helped me a great deal.
I'm the officer in charge of Calgary East. That means all the towns east of Calgary, up to Hanna, Oyen, Brooks, Gleason, and so on. I noticed tonight that we were honoring people from exactly those towns. Patrollers from Hanna, patrollers from Strathmore, Brooks, and Black Diamond. The members in those towns pass on their good wishes and their thanks for the work well done during the last year. And I thank you, every one of you, for the work that you're doing to help us do our job back. Thank you very much.
Patrollers, parents, honored guests. Tonight, we salute the patrollers and their accomplishments. Every parent, every teacher, and every young student in this city is thankful for the valuable services you provide in ensuring that your fellow students get to and from school safely every day. Thank you from the Calgary Catholic Board of Education for your good work and your untiring dedication. Keep it up.
Well, thank you very much, Chief Reimer and distinguished head table guests and ladies and gentlemen and school patrollers. So nice to be here, isn't it? I think it was the Westgate Hotel last year, wasn't it? Yes, it was, yeah. It was sort of a fun, but this is a much larger crowd than I've ever seen, except for the annual picnic. And I went, do you remember last year's picnic? I remember it, yeah. I didn't get out of the car, but I sure saw a lot of you. Tell me, what do soggy hot dogs taste like? Or watered down ice cream? Huh? Not so good? Well, it's nice to be with you this evening and to, first of all, bring you warm and sincere greetings on behalf of Calgary City Council and indeed all the citizens of Calgary who are so very, very thankful for the tremendous work you do throughout the school year to safeguard people just like yourself, and people who are so valuable and so precious to our community. What a fantastic program. I understand that there's a young gal here who's going to receive an award or has already received an award from Buchanan School. Is there a gal here from Buchanan School? The only reason I mention that is that I went to Buchanan School once. I didn't go much further than that, but and even then I remember the school, but oh, there you are, right, I can see you. Even then I can remember the school patrollers. I was sort of a bad apple, so I never got to be a school patroller, which means that you must be all good kids, right? Huh? If you are, clap for yourself. Oh yeah.
Judging by the way everybody behaved during the dinner, you've been having a fine time of it here this evening yourself. I'd like to begin by thanking everyone who has contributed to the support and organization of this city's very fine patroller program. I want to say right now that I was very impressed at the pledge that the patrollers who are here this evening recited at the beginning of the program. And I think that we want to congratulate and thank those who are here this evening for having been selected as people in the school who have done a particularly outstanding job of living up to the terms of that very demanding pledge. Some of you are receiving special awards here this evening, and we want to extend special congratulations to you. But all of you are deserving of our thanks and congratulations for the way in which you have helped to promote the safety of your fellow students and for the splendid model of citizenship that you provided in your school.
Yes, we'll move on with the proceedings. Unfortunately, Yvonne has deserted me. She's seen the mayor to his car, so I need to call upon Travis and Carrie. Do you know who you are?
How many Travises we got? We got 3 kids.
I know they're both blonde and quite tall. Come forward. You must be Travis and Mrs. Carey. Can you pass us the vest? What we're going to do is to demonstrate a new feature in the school patrol. No, it's okay. Just put them over the belt for the time. Just realize that the belt would go over the vest. Good. Thank you. During 1985, the AMA and Sergeant Roski of the Calgary Police Service took a look at those school patrols operating in areas where the hazard factor had increased. It was decided to further enhance the visibility of the patroller by the use of the vest now owned by Travis and Carey. I think you'll all agree that this will further identify the patroller when performing their duties. Thank you both.
It presently consists of 8 constables. As Chief Reimer said, this year is the first year that we've got an addition of constables, and I thank you for that, sir. Presently, our city is divided into 6 different geographical areas, and each geographical area is assigned to a constable. So the average constable looks after approximately 20 to 25 schools that have school patrols. I'd like to introduce them to you, and first of all, I'd like to call on Constable Rianne Dijon. Would you come forward, please, Rianne? Okay. Rianne is a 3-year veteran, and she's doing a super job. So if you take over from here, please.
Thank you very much, Sergeant. These are the top patrollers of my schools in B Division. I'll call your names up and get your certificate and just stand here, all right? Noel.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are my top patrollers from my area.
From my area.
I had the opportunity to sit in on the judging of and the interviewing of these kids, and if I knew much about interviewing as these kids did when I joined the job, I probably would have done a lot better job. They just did a super job, and I'm very impressed with them.
Not in the name of their random order. To come forward, please. Holly Agnew from St. Augustine Elementary. Michelle Casey from Woodbine Elementary. Noel Bacalso, St. Patrick's Elementary. I can't wait. Second runner-up from Holly Agnew from St. Augustine Elementary. First runner-up, Michelle Casey from Woodbine. And the winner is Noel Bacalso from St. Patrick Elementary. Looks like it's going to be a quiet evening. Thank you, Mr. Belvance and Mr. Moore, very much. Now we get to the top boy patroller. This is secondary according to the girls. I'd like to ask Mr. Jack Ferguson and Mr. Roy Smith if they would like to make the presentations, and in random order they are Albert Tam from Clinton Ford Elementary, Chad Hayes from Joe Clark School, Bradley Emery from Acadia Elementary. Second runner-up, Albert Tam from Clinton Ford. First runner-up, Bradley Emery from Acadia. And the winner is Chad Hayes from Joe Clark. Patrollers in the Calgary and surrounding districts, and the audience should really acknowledge this because they are the top people in the southern part of this province. This year, the Alberta Motor Association will be sending 36 representatives, including 10 from Calgary region, to Expo 86 in Vancouver, rather than to the National School Patrol Jamboree in Ottawa. I'd again like to ask Sergeant Roski, head of the School Safety Unit, to come to the podium and advise the audience all about the selection process for this prize. Would you come forward, please, Sergeant Roski?
As I mentioned earlier, in this city we have 135 schools that have school patrols. Every school has the opportunity to nominate their top school patroller. We encourage the teacher supervisors to have or to let the peers make that decision. These people here, the majority of them were chosen by their own peers. These people have to go through an interview. The first board consisted of 8 of these constables, 6 of these you've met tonight. And if you can imagine being 11 years old, going into a boardroom with 6 or 8 burly policemen sitting at the end. And I'll tell you, these youngsters had to go through quite a bit. I don't know whether I could have faced it, but they did a super job. Each one of the constables asked them 2 questions. We were looking for people that would do a good job of selling themselves and also selling the city of Calgary at Expo 86. We were looking for people with outstanding personalities, people who could really sell themselves. And these are the people that we are going to send to Expo. Out of 127 from the city, schools that were represented, this group was cut down to 16. From the rural area, there were 16 schools represented, and they were cut down to 2. So it was really quite an experience. The 16 that were selected had to go through another interview. And these people on the board were people from the school boards, from the Calgary City Police Department again, and also other people who have had close ties with the Alberta Motor Association and know a lot about school patrolling. So tonight, you're going to meet the winners that get to go to Ottawa, to Expo.
Glacier from St. Philip. Jennifer Jones from Lake Bonavista. John Vardalis from St. Sylvester. And Keith Kern from Hannah Elementary.
One of last year's lucky winners of a trip to Ottawa. As you all know, the rewards of being a good patroller can be very great. As I realized when I won my trip, I remember feeling like I was in a beauty pageant, only I was vying for a trip to Ottawa instead of a crown. My trip to Ottawa held a lot of things I feel are important to kids. Like I got to see some of my country, I got to meet people from all over Canada, and I got out of school. In Ottawa, I had many great experiences, and luckily we had only one setback, for a plane to Ottawa was delayed. So we ended up sitting in an airport for 5 hours. But as for the rest of the trip, I had a great time meeting new people, seeing new sights, and just generally having fun. Our chaperones, Constable Katie Emter and Constable Vince Erdos, were really terrific. They only added to our fabulous time. I also had fun after the trip when I was in the Stampede Parade and other AMA events. Being Best Patroller has broadened my horizons in many ways. I would like to thank a very special person, Yvonne McKinnon, who was a great friend to us in the past year. In closing, I would like to congratulate all of the patrollers here. I know how hard you worked to get to this banquet, and say that all of you are winners just for being a good patroller. Guests and fellow patrollers, we are gathered again tonight to pick a new set of patrollers who will journey away to a place of excitement and fun. I'm sure the lucky ones tonight will have fun, enjoyment, and many different experiences in Expo 1986 held in Vancouver as I did in Ottawa. There I met many different people which became some of my closest friends. My trip was fantastic. I'm sure yours will be just as fun. Even though my chaperones are not attending this evening, I'd extremely like to thank them for their support and help. I treasured my trip in my heart and I'll never forget it. I hope the lucky ones tonight will never forget theirs. I would also like to thank the committee for picking me as one of the top patrollers of Alberta and giving me the opportunity for such a memorable experience. I'd also like to give much thanks to Yvonne for always being there when we needed help in preparing us for our trip. I understand Constable Gregorish isn't here this evening, but I'd like to thank him for marking and taking care of our district. Thank you for such a memorable trip. Good luck to you all and good night.
The audience, just as you're doing tonight. I was just like you semi-finalists, impatiently waiting to see if I had won the trip. Fortunately for me, I was lucky enough to be chosen. For those of you chosen tonight, this will be the beginning of a wonderful experience. The thrill of being measured for your own tailor-made jacket, to the excitement of anticipating your departure to Vancouver for Expo 86, is an experience I can assure you that you will never forget. As you can see by my jacket, trading pins with other patrollers from across Canada can add a lot of weight, and you have to be careful going through the airport metal detectors because these will set it off. The trip isn't all fun. The 4.5-mile Jamboree Parade takes a lot out of you, but it's worth it because of all the friends you make, not only from Calgary and Alberta, but from all across Canada. One of the friends I made last year sent me a Christmas card. To many people, police officers are to be avoided, but as you and I know as school safety patrollers, police officers are our friends. Our chaperones last year were Katie, a policewoman from Edmonton, and Vince, a policeman from Lethbridge. They were always there if we needed them, and we found from living with them for 5 days that they were our very good friends. So be nice to your chaperones. You never know when you might need a friend at the police station. Returning home from the trip does not mean the end of your school safety patrol experiences. You must continue to set a good example at school, remembering your patrol promise. Your duties as a representative will continue for the next year. We were involved at a parade at Heritage Park on Father's Day, and we rode on the Calgary School Safety Patrol float, which was made by our very own Yvonne McKinnon in the Calgary Stampede Parade. My last duty as a recognized school patroller is to speak to you tonight. In conclusion, I would like to say thanks to the Alberta Motor Association and the Calgary City Police for giving me the privilege of experiencing a fabulous trip. I know that I will never forget the fun I had, the friends I made, and the things I saw. Good luck to all of you.
Good evening, fellow patrollers and guests. I haven't had a lot of time between school and soccer to prepare a long speech, and I'm not sure too many of you mind. I know last year all I wanted to do was get on with the awards and see who would be chosen to go to Ottawa. The trip was a real learning experience. First of all, meeting all the other Alberta patrollers and getting to know one another. We left Alberta as strangers and came back as friends. The opportunity of meeting the Governor General, Madame Jean Sauvé, and hearing her speak, the visit to the Parliament buildings, touring Ottawa, and seeing the home of the Prime Minister and others, the boat ride on the Rideau Canal, were all a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We stayed at the Carleton University, and I learned one thing. When I go to university, I want my mom around to pack me my lunches. One day, I went to take what I thought was a pork chop. It bit me. From then on, I lived on Jell-O and chocolate milk. That's a joke. I understand this year the trip will be to Expo 86. Makes me wish I was here competing again. Maybe I can talk the AMA into taking me along as a junior chaperone. Hey, my jacket still fits. Anyway, I would like to thank our chaperones who did a great job. And even though they must have felt like it, they didn't lose us. A big thank you to the AMA for making the trip to Ottawa possible and for their work with the school patrols. Thank you to to Yvonne, who worked hard organizing our trip and getting us all the pins to train. Thank you to Constable Lagulo, or should I say, Father Lagulo. That's a personal joke. Our supervisor last year at St. Sylvester School for making sure we did a good job at the crossings. Thank you to anyone else I may have missed, and good luck to all the patrollers here tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. Exactly 1 year ago, I too sat on the edge of my seat anxiously waiting for the announcement. Going to Ottawa was the best thing that ever happened to me. On Wednesday, we went to the Calgary AMA office to pick up some pins to exchange in Ottawa. At 11 o'clock, we pulled out to go to Edmonton with Mr. John Orr behind the wheel. He seemed really nice, and he even bought us dinner at McDonald's. When we got to Edmonton, we stayed at the very nice Chateau Lacombe. Early that night, we went for a photo session. We had a very enjoyable evening at the terrific new Space Science Center and showed a great new movie on speed. On Thursday morning, we got up at 5:30. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I did. Because of mechanical problems, we took a later flight. With the later flight, we had to stop over in Toronto. Well, I guess it wasn't all that bad. I'd never been to Toronto before. We arrived in Ottawa. We were treated to a late night snack at McDonald's. After that, we traveled to the Carleton University where they gave us a free pizza. Most of us were not enough to eat the whole thing, but we tried. On Friday and Saturday were the two best days of our trip. First of all, we boarded a bus and toured Ottawa, fascinated by all the embassies. When we came to Parliament Hill, we got off our bus and waited our turn to go in. We went through the library, the Senate, and our hall filled with hand-painted pictures of people like our Prime Minister. Later on, we attended a life-saving ceremony for one of our fellow patrollers on the Governor General's lawn. After that, we were bused to a park where we watched parachuters and a musical ride. That night, we had a great dance. The next morning, we practiced our marching to the 4.5-mile parade. We were to march up and past Parliament Hill. Later that day, we went on a riverboat ride on the Rideau Canal. We spent 1.5 leisurely hours watching the scenery go by from the top deck of the Sea Prince 2. That night, we went to the Olympic pool to go swimming and diving. On Sunday, we boarded a Boeing 727 for Calgary. We were all glad to meet our parents. The only thing that forgot the schedule on the trip was enough time to sleep. On June 16th, we spent a nice day at Heritage Park. The police were showing us their canines and horses. On July 5th, we were fortunate enough to ride on the AMA float in the Calgary Stampede Parade. I would like to thank Constable Katie Emter and Constable Vince Erdos, our chaperones, the AMA for financing it. A very special thanks to Yvonne McKinnon for all her help and support. Good luck to each and every patrol who will be attending the trip in 1986.
So, what is it? What's the order of the AMA? To make the presentation to the winners. Runners up. Karen Haynes from Hannah Elementary. Aaron Rogers from Ian McLaren School, Black Diamond. The winners are Cecilia Van Coolen from Brentwood Elementary in Strathmore and Elizabeth Schweitzer from Central Elementary in Brock. Represent rural Alberta at Expo 86 on behalf of the Rural School Patrollers in the Calgary region. Congratulations. Boy, have we got a batting order here. 16 of them. City finalists, would they come up as their name is called and their names are in random? Jane McKimmey from Elbow Park. James Crosby from Montview. Hannah Morrison from Buchanan. Tyler Gooch from St. Sylvester. Holly Agnew from St. Augustine. Shelley Lawton from Midnapore. Jenny Strait from St. Dominic. Brian Bourne, Holy Cross. Kevin Spade, Father Damien. Courtney Dick from Sundance. Matthew Williamson from St. Elizabeth. Anita Maida, Janet Johnston, Angie Schroeder from Sam Livingston, Dominic Payne from St. Philip, Darcy Paulson from Canyon Meadows, and Bradley Emery from Acadia. Aren't they a great group looking group? Boy. Not proud at all. I'd like to ask Chief Reimer and Mr. Mike College from the AMA to make the presentations to the winners. Yeah. This is from Price Waterhouse. They upstaged us last night with their 2 nights ago with the Academy Awards. Runners up in random order. Jane McKimmey from Elwood Park. Bradley Emery from Acadia. William Matthew Williamson from Queen Elizabeth. Whoa. Luann Guam, Holy Cross. Courtney Dick from Sundance. Darcy Paulson from Canyon Meadows. Dominic Pang from St. Philip. And Anita Maida from Janet Johnson. I imagine there's some people breathing easier up there right now. The winners are Angie Schroeder from Sam Livingston. Holly Agnew from St. Augustine. Janice Morrison from Buchanan. Jenny Shea from St. Dominic. James Roski from Mountview. Tyler Gushu from St. Sebastian. Shelley Lawton from Midnapore. And Kevin Stay from Father Damien. And secondly, the Alberta Motor Association, who sponsors such a program as this in conjunction with the police service of our country and our city. I'd like to thank the head table guests and the representatives from the police forces and all the supervisors, the constables, and the staff who worked very hard to put this on without, in my opinion, one hitch. Thank you very much. The formal part of this evening is now over.